There's something about a story with no ending that just pulls you in, right? We're all wired to look for the answer, for that final piece of the puzzle that makes everything click. But some stories, they just don't have one. They just stop, leaving us with a bunch of facts so strange, so contradictory, that logic itself kind of starts to fall apart.
So what happens when every single piece of evidence you find only makes a case more confusing? When forensic science just hits a brick wall, and all you're left with is a set of impossible questions? Well, in this explainer, we're going to open up a global case file on 5 deaths that absolutely defy any rational explanation.
We're looking at 5 cases from all over the world. We're going to start with a frozen riddle high in the Russian mountains, then jump to a Cold War mystery in Norway, a truly bizarre signal in Brazil, a modern internet enigma out of Los Angeles, and we'll finish up with a terrifying phantom in a German farmhouse. Now, these aren't your typical unsolved cases.
Not at all. These are the outliers, those moments in history where the rule book for how you solve a crime just gets thrown out the window, leaving behind these legends that honestly still haunt us to this day. Our first case takes us way back to 1959, to the freezing cold Ural Mountains. 9 really experienced hikers, we're talking pros here, set out on an expedition, and they just never came back. When the rescuers finally found their camp, the scene they walked into was completely baffling.
Okay, so get this. The scene was just a mess of contradictions. Their tent was sliced open from the inside. That tells you they were desperate to get out into the freezing, negative 30-degree weather, some of them without even wearing shoes. A few of the hikers had these massive internal injuries, like they'd been in a high-speed car crash. But here's the thing, there was no external bruising at all. One of the victims had this strange orange-brown skin color, and another was missing her tongue and her eyes. Oh, and to top it all off, their clothes had traces of radiation.
The official Soviet explanation was a rare type of avalanche. But that theory just doesn't explain the radiation, or those specific internal-only injuries, or the mutilations. A much more popular theory points to a secret Soviet weapons test. See, other people in the area reported seeing these strange orange fireballs in the sky that night, which could definitely explain the panic and the radiation. But with that classic Soviet-era secrecy, the truth is probably still buried out there in the snow. This case is just overflowing with clues, but not a single one of them fits together.
So, we go from a frozen mountain riddled with way too many clues to a Cold War thriller that's defined by having almost none. In 1970, a woman's burned body was discovered in Norway's Death Valley. Who she was, where she came from, and why she died, it remains one of Europe's biggest mysteries.
This was no ordinary person. She had systematically, methodically erased her own identity. I mean, every single label on her clothing was cut off. Her fingerprints had been sanded away. She was juggling at least 8 different fake passports to travel all over Europe. And in her luggage, they found a notepad with these coded entries that detailed all of her movements. This just screams a high level of training, of discipline.
Her location really is the key here. She was found near a sensitive Norwegian military base where they were testing the brand new Penguin missile. So this has led pretty much everyone to the same conclusion. She had to have been a spy. But for who? And was she eliminated by an enemy agency? Or maybe did she take her own life when she knew her cover was blown? We just don't have the answer.
Now, if you thought a spy mystery was strange, well, our next case takes a very sharp turn into the truly bizarre. It's 1966, and 2 electronics technicians are found dead on a hill in Brazil. They're dressed in formal suits, waterproof coats, and, this is the weirdest part, crude, homemade lead masks over their eyes.
There were no signs of a struggle, no injuries at all. But police did find a notebook with this incredibly cryptic, just chilling set of instructions. It says 1830, swallow capsule. After the effect, protect metals, wait for mask signal. It reads like a checklist for some kind of ritual, but a ritual for what?
This just leaves us with a handful of really strange possibilities. Were these guys part of some spiritual group trying to make contact with another dimension? Or were they maybe doing some kind of psychedelic drug experiment that went horribly, horribly wrong? Or, and this is what a lot of people believe, were they getting ready to meet an extraterrestrial craft, using the lead masks to shield their eyes from some brilliant light? A signal from what? That question just hangs there, completely unanswered. All right, let's jump forward in time to a mystery that became a full-blown internet obsession. In 2013, a Canadian student named Elisa Lam vanished from the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, a place that, by the way, already had a pretty dark history. The
The very last time anyone saw her alive was on a video that would go viral and spawn just countless theories. So first, you have this bizarre elevator footage. She's acting erratically, it looks like she's hiding from someone or maybe something that we can't see. Then, for more than 2 weeks, guests at the hotel started complaining about the water pressure, about the water being black and having this strange, awful taste. Then, on February 19th, a maintenance worker made a gruesome discovery. Elisa Lam's body was floating inside one of the rooftop water tanks.
The official ruling was accidental drowning, possibly related to a bipolar episode. But the online sleuths, they were not buying it. And you can see why. How did she get up to the roof when the door was locked and alarmed? And even more confusing, how did she get inside the water tank and then close that heavy lid from the inside? It's these physical impossibilities that keep this case alive and fuel so much speculation.
For our final case, we're going to go way back to 1922, to a remote German farmhouse called Hinterkaifeck. This story, man, it combines the total isolation of Dyatlov Pass with this terrifying domestic horror. An entire family of 6 was brutally murdered with a pickaxe. But the real horror, it actually started days before the killing. The family was being stalked. The father had found a single set of footprints in the snow leading from the forest right up to the farmhouse, but there were no footprints leading back. The maid had been hearing footsteps and noises coming from the attic. A house key just vanished. A newspaper that none of them read suddenly appeared on the property. Someone was already inside the house, living in the walls, just watching them.
But here it is, the most disturbing detail of all, is what happened after the murders. The killer didn't run, they stayed. For several days, this person lived in the house with the bodies piled up in the barn. They fed the cows, they tended to the animals, and they ate meals in the kitchen. This detail, it just transforms the crime from, say, a robbery gone wrong into something truly monstrous and completely incomprehensible. So, from Russia to Germany, from 1922 to 2013, these 5 cases, they all share one haunting reality. They show us the absolute limits of our own understanding. They're stories where the final chapter was just ripped out, leaving us to wonder about it forever. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. Think about the Isdal woman, with her identity so carefully erased. And then think about the Dyatlov Pass hikers, with an overload of bizarre, contradictory evidence. Which one is the harder puzzle to solve? The case with too few clues, or the one with too many? A blank page, or a page that's just filled with nonsense? The answer might tell us more about ourselves than it ever could about the cases.